Well, welcome back. It's our season premiere week here on CutiCast TV. Man with the show. We thank you for clicking on this video. We really do appreciate it. It's Monday, or as I'm going to be calling it, Big Apple Monday. We got a couple of New York stories this week. Basically, we got two today. That's what we're going to be doing on there. So do check out the second one later on today. Some good information on that one. But, coming up is the election. We got, this Mandami, Zoran, or whatever the hell you want to call him. And then you have Como, running again. I can't, it's unbelievable with this guy. Then you have Adams, who's running again, which I don't foresee him winning this time around. And, he just basically, this guy's got trouble all around him. Literally. Everybody around him is either going to jail or somehow going to be arrested or somehow is already going to be going to trial. And on the other side, you got Curtis Sliwa and a couple others that basically, could do good for the city of New York, especially with Curtis Sliwa. I mean, you could say, well, I don't really 100% trust this guy. But you look at what is on the other side of the aisle, maybe it's time we go with a different direction. We did with Donald Trump, to that point. And it's gotten us to this point where basically, we're finally cleaning up, all the situations that are going on down. You can't blame it on him because this is the stuff they've walked into here in New York City, especially electing a guy like Eric Adams. Now, this guy before, Eric Adams, he's been trying to push this agenda. Hey, you're healthier food. You need to eat this and that. And we got to get rid of this and that. I was like, well, yes, we do need to eat healthier. In fact, the whole country needs to eat healthier. But see, the thing about it is people like him and his part of the party, and not to take away from the other side as well, because it's also their fault as well, is we used to have programs that pushed health in school. In fact, actually, do they really teach health sciences anymore in school or biology? Because it sounds like they don't. They really don't. But now, in his insane wisdom, because he was pushing, to get vegan food in our, it's like, really, you want us to stop eating processed food so we can eat other processed food. Because most people say, well, it's vegan, it's supposed to be healthy, it's from the ground. Say a lot of the stuff that vegan people, and I used to know a lot of vegan people that used to be around in my circles. Some of them, yes, they were true vegans that basically they ate vegetables and stuff, the proper stuff. And then there are others who just literally were eating processed food. Literally, you went from one type of processed food to another processed food. But the thing about it is you have to understand, no offense to vegans, but going vegan ain't the healthiest thing for the human body. Why? Because we're not built that way. You can't change thousands of years of evolution in just one little shot. You want to eat healthier? Fine. There are many ways, and we used to teach it in schools. Remember the food pyramid? Yes, that's right. But what I'm getting to now, and this is where the stupid part comes in, is Mayor Adams wants to push a prohibition type thing for alcohol in New York City. Yeah, that's right. He wants to stop people from drinking alcohol in New York.
You have a drinking problem? No, I pretty much got it figured out.
But before we start, take this moment, and I really do appreciate it, to drop a comment right in the lines. Don't forget to hit the like, share, and, subscribe. Really, we really would appreciate you there. Hit the subscribe button. It is very important that you do. To the reason is, YouTube is playing their games, They're doing these AI things that are literally closing out programming like mine and many others from people out there who want to see this program by restricting us from us showing the things we want to show you. You notice lately they've been trying to push more into the mainstream media as of late. Yeah, YouTube has got to learn. You want to stay number one, the people who are on here, the content creators, the independent creators, are the reason why you're still up there. Not because that you carry network content, that you carry sports, movies, and all that. People come in to look at the content creators, which are very important to them. But yet you hamper them, you give them problems, because there are those of you who work for Google and YouTube that, don't like what we talk about. Well, you work for the company. You don't dictate what we can and cannot say. We're adults out here. Don't treat us like children. If you're blaming it to the point that children are watching your program, it's not our problem. That is basically the parents' situation. Don't blame us. So once again, subscribe. And if you're over on Rumble, please do the same thing too, because I don't know how much longer we'll be here on YouTube, but if you're subscribed to me on Rumble, you will, if we go off the air here on YouTube, you'll be guaranteed to have your content still available to you. So, out of the New York Post, New York eyes cutting the number of liquor stores to curb health-threatening booze abuse. Cheers to this. The City Department of Health is suggesting cutting the number of liquor stores in the Big Apple as a way to curb health-threatening booze abuse. In a report released Wednesday, Mayor Eric Adams, DOH, warned that consuming too much alcohol has been linked to 7 types of cancer, including mouth, throat, larynx, esophagus, liver, and collateral, as well as breast cancer in women. I want to see that report, by the way. The report recommends reducing the density of spirit slingers in certain neighborhoods and also suggests restrictions on alcohol advertising and spiking sales and drink prices, recalling the public's health war against tobacco. This report from the Health Department is a clear reminder that our work to build a healthier city for all New Yorkers is far from over, said Adams, a health nut, but also a nightlife advocate, as he endorsed the report. Yeah, he goes to nightclubs that serve alcohol. He wants to tell those same nightclubs, don't sell the alcohol. Continuing on, it is especially concerning to see how the density of liquor stores in a neighborhood is linked to heavy drinking. I want to see the report on that, because I think that's still a little... And how this disproportionately affects community of color, said Adams in a statement. The report, part of Adams' Healthy NYC agenda, found that neighborhoods with the highest concentration of liquor stores also had the highest prevalence of heavy drinking, which is 12%. That's about 3 times higher than in the neighborhoods with the lowest liquor store density, according to the study. There are 25,000 businesses licensed to sell spirits in a city of about 1,500 categorized as liquor stores, the report said. But the head group representing the 3,300 wine and liquor stores merchants railed that cutting off booze outlets was extreme and anti-business. Our products are only sold in a controlled and regulated environment because we believe in responsible drinking only among legal age adults, said Michael Cora, executive director of the Metropolitan Package Stores Association and owner of Michael Town's Wines and Spirits in Brooklyn Heights. It is also critical to acknowledge that the New York City is economically reliant upon tourism, restaurants, nightlife economy. As last year, the Big Apple hosted 64.3 million tourists who spent $51 billion here, supporting over 388,000 jobs, according to the Office of the Mayor's own data. One bar restaurateur said, I don't know where to start. Is some sick Orwellian joke? A failing politician and a career health department bureaucrat walk into a bar, and the bartender says nothing because they put him out of business. We also have heart disease, diabetes problem in this country. Do we close half the supermarkets so people can't eat Twinkies? State Conservative Party Chairman Gerard Kasser said, the nanny government is saying, we know better than you. It's completely off kilter. It's anti-business, anti-freedom. The DOH previously floated the idea of slashing the number of liquor stores and sales under Mayor Mike Bloomberg. The renewed anti-push becomes at a time when Adams and Governor Kathy Hochul are promoting the growth of New York's legal cannabis industry. And see, that's the irony of the situation. Here you have liquor, and then they're pushing cannabis, which we're now finding out because people are not afraid to talk about it because in legal areas, that it shows that people are getting sick of this, that they're basically too much of cannabis, and we've seen the research on this, that too much cannabis is not healthy for young people.
What?
We are committed to increasing awareness of the risk of alcohol use and ensuring that everyone has access to the life-saving cancer screenings and the quality care they need, Adams said in a statement. The DOH study found that men and a higher income New Yorkers were most likely to drink alcohol. It identified neighborhoods across Manhattan as having liquor stores from 25 to 45 per 100,000 residents along the downtown and northern Brooklyn area. These same areas also had the highest percentage of heavy drinkers, 10.3% to 15% of the population. But even in the suburbs of Staten Island and southern Brooklyn neighborhoods, such as Bay Ridge, 5.7 to 10% of the residents were also heavy drinkers, second highest in the city. That wasn't a surprise to the head of the major substance abuse treatment program on the island. We're operating in a drug-using and alcohol borough. It is business as usual, said Luke Natasha, co-founder of CEO of Camelot Counseling Centers. Alcohol, like marijuana, is a gateway drug whose abuse can lead people to addiction. More potent drugs such as heroin and other opioids, Natasha said. The DOH report that the city's considering policies concerning warning labels, alcohol retailer reductions, alcohol advertising restrictions, and price levels such as taxes or minimum unit pricing to reduce likelihood of alcohol-related harms. Minimum pricing sets the lowest price that the retailers can sell booze at, which typically increases cost by the cheapest alcohol such as beer and wine. Alcohol is used in a common among adults, but is connected to certain cancers, is not widely known, said Acting Commissioner Dr. Michelle Morris. We encourage New Yorkers to make cancer screenings part of their routine primary care. Early detection saves lives. See, the thing gets me. Wherever we step in New York, you can get coffee, cigarettes, alcohol, cakes and candy. You know, we're a city that doesn't sleep. Obviously, businesses are going to be wherever they can put it where needed. When it comes to drinking, when I was younger, yeah, I used to partake.
Julian.
The drink, I used to party a lot. That was when I was younger. These days, I'm pretty minimal. I have a drink with dinner, glass of wine. Sometimes before dinner or after dinner, I might have a glass of whiskey on the rocks or straight up. A ginger ale with rum. Yes, I do ginger ale rum, no Coke and rum. I don't use Coke or Pepsi anymore. And the thing is, it is the choice that I've made to drink it or not to drink. We learned this during the Prohibition era. When they made alcohol illegal in the United States, what happened? You had people, the mob bringing it in illegally, selling it illegally out there to people, in secret bars, hidden places, with secret passageways to place where there's music and drinking, and people drank, and it never stopped it until Prohibition was removed, and we went back to basically drinking legally. But here we are again, blaming the substance and not the person. Blaming the gun, but not the person who holds the gun. blaming the food we eat, blaming the alcohol we drink, that we don't make good decisions, and basically we blame it on the product. Yeah, there are some things out there that are not healthy for you, obviously. But, the thing with alcohol, and I've noticed this growing up, it's like eggs also. And this was the same thing that happened with eggs, is one year they say, eggs are bad for you. Don't eat it. Too much cholesterol and all that. Then the next year it says, well, there are some health situations that may improve if you have eggs in your diet. It's the same thing with the alcohol. I've heard it says, a good glass of wine in a day is not healthy for you. Then the next year it says, well, that tannins in the wine, that might help your heart. You might want to take a glass a day if you do partake the drink. So which one it is? Because every year there's always one story, and especially around election time. And the thing about it, the other half of it is you have those of one religious type sect that wants to eliminate what you're drinking. This is happening in Texas, that, you have an imam go into Muslim-owned shops and says, well, no, you can't, put that finger up and saying, you can't sell the pork, you can't sell the lottery tickets, and you can't sell the alcohol. We're in the United States of America. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, to that point. If I wanted to partake in a drink or have a cigarette, it's fine and dandy. That's my choice. If I want to have a piece of cake, that's my choice too. But the thing about it is, for you to sit there and says, well, we can't have it, eat healthier. The thing about it is, it's government intervention that has put us into this problem. And it's not because of the alcohol. It's not because of the sweets and stuff like that. It is regulating the product itself. For example, marijuana legislation should not have been made legal. If you wanted it for medicinal purposes, for medical on there, which that's what they were advocating for originally. Not for freaking just general use, but for people who had legitimate medical issues. This is how basically it was pushed, that it was allowed. It should go back to that only. Under a prescription, under a doctor's, not any fictitious doctor that will hand out willy-nilly like what happened with the fentanyl situation and the opioids. This is why we are out where we are today, because they were handing out freaking prescriptions left and right for painkillers. If we really truly want to be healthy, let's go back to the food pyramid. Let's educate our children that says this is the balanced meal of the day. Now, understand, kids are active and all that. A candy bar here and there, a little cake, a bag of chips is okay. But fast food every day of the week, instead of a hot meal, and I'm talking a really true, I have to laugh sometimes because I see this online, and I see a lot of people make parents make what they call dinner. I think what was the craziest one I saw? Some woman was making like a bunch of hot dogs, cutting them up, putting in pasta in there, cheese and all crazy, making some sort. And oh no, it wasn't pasta; it's a hamburger helper. And this is what they were serving to the kids. A ton of processed food. Go out, get a tomato, get some lettuce, get some onions and maybe some mushrooms, some carrots. Chop it up, make a salad. Buy a little bit of, some chicken. Get, don't buy pre-cooked. Get it, regular, get a whole chicken. Cook it up. Chop it up. Put it in the salad. Or put it on the side with maybe a little bit of rice, a little bit of beans to that situation. Healthy. Doesn't, for the amount of actions I just talked about with the hot dogs and the hamburger, you could still make an entire meal like that instantly. No. We have become lazy to the point, and you say, well, what does this have to do with alcohol? you have people with a lot of issues and problems in their life. And family is part of the problems that they're having. We have, single parent homes to the point. We have guys out there who have basically issues in themselves handling single parent homes also. It goes both ways to the situation. And then people have problem with their jobs. People have problem with, they're going through mental issues. And that's another part of it, is the mental health issues that are going on in this country right now. There's a time to party, and then there's a time not to party. Having a drink is no problem. There's no problem with that. You want to sit back, relax. But if you're pounding it every day, okay, maybe it's time to relook the situation and why am I pounding a drink every day? And I'm not talking about having one drink. We're talking like a dozen drinks, and even going hitting the bar and stuff like that. My brother works as a DJ in a nightclub bar situation. And sometimes when his primary job, he comes home, has a beer or two, and then goes home at that same place. He might add a shot, a shot or two, and that's it. Not like when we were younger. Trust me, younger we were insane.
Julian.
Some of the stuff that we used to do when we were in our 20s, I wouldn't do now. Not at all. I've seen the lights of that situation. But that is the situation that we go through. And basically that is our choice that we're making. It ain't the choice of the businesses to be there. And they say, well, if it's not there, people wouldn't have these problems. Bullshit. They still have these problems. Those problems will not go away. They'll shift to something else. So let me know in the comments below. Tell me your thoughts about this. Do you believe reduce the amount of liquor stores? Maybe that it'll help, or leave them alone to that point. Let them do their business. Me myself, I said, their business. They're important to the community to that point, because there are those who will travel far and wide to find. Because remember, there are, like in New York State, there are counties, what we call dry counties, and people will drive miles to get their beer and their wine. So comment, like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you on the next video. Don't forget to check out Sci-Fi Snob Babylon 5 Retrospective this Wednesday, 11 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube and Rumble. And also Top Lofty Lounge on the Sci-Fi Snob channel, 11 p.m. Eastern Sundays on the same networks as well. And check out Sci-Fi For Me dailies on there. Click on him, subscribe to that, and basically you'll be able to be notified when he goes live on his shows. So until next time, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.